Hello there. Once again, it is time to take another revealing peek back into history.
What famous mate shall I send it to today?
Once again, it's time for Throwback Thursday, a second chance to look at some truly awful podcasts. No, wait, a second chance to see how far Vicis Intreimo has come over the last 8 years. New episodes will be released pretty much weekly, but Thursdays I've reserved for throwbacks to see how far we've come. A lot of the information on here no longer applies, whether that be businesses or links that may not work anymore, so be advised of that. But again, I want to thank the patrons that we have at this time, though they may not have been here the first time these episodes were recorded. I am thanking them again because they're helping us move forward with our new episodes. And those are patrons such as At Lonely Bob, Big Al V, and Goldafish. In the meantime, I hope that you enjoy what you hear. Welcome to Vicis Intreimo, Time to Kill, episode 101. This is our Christmas episode. Are you excited about that? Yeah.
Sure.
You don't sound excited.
Okay. Yay, I'm excited.
Well, it's Christmas Eve, and we just got back from visiting Knott's Merry Farm. Did you have a good time?
I did.
That's good.
Did you?
What was your favorite thing?
Oh. Watching that old man try to stick that giant pickle in the plastic bag.
That's maybe a little random. I thought you'd have maybe said watching A Christmas Carol or something like that.
I like that, too.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw 2 Christmas shows while we were there.
Okay.
They were both good, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed them.
Yeah, for a little 20-minute kind of, I don't know, limited productions, they were very entertaining, and I really did like The Christmas Carol. I enjoyed that a lot.
Oh, that's good. They did a really good job.
Yeah. So anyhow, what we're here for, though, is for our movie review of The Rite.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, because really the only thing that separates this from being a Christmas show from any other thing is just us wishing a Merry Christmas to all of our listeners, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. That's it.
And when are you planning on releasing this?
I think it's going to be available Christmas Day.
That's tomorrow. We're going to be out of town all day.
That's the plan. I guess I better get cracking then.
Get cracking.
All right. So, well, let's get this thing recorded then.
All right.
All right. So we'll stop for a little bit of music. We'll have a very brief laid to rest. We'll come back with a movie review about The Rite with Anthony Hopkins. And then we'll have a couple of things for garbage in, garbage out. And we'll be on our way.
All right.
Ho, ho, ho.
So many social engagements. So little time.
Yo, man, what's the matter with you? I'll get it the next time.
So, as to previous episode, our 100th show, we heard from Jason on that, and when it came down to top 5 list...
he said mine was best.
Until...
He loved it. He thought it was so perfect. He did.
Until you got to your number 1.
Oh, well. He made a mistake.
Then my list was suddenly better.
Yes.
Well, you know what? We watch these because we enjoy them, and I mean that's one of the things that you know, like I say, I feel lucky to talk that anybody is actually even listening to what we have to say about these things. But Yeah, the movies that stand out because of a personal connection or something that we really enjoyed about them, and you really enjoyed Subspecies, and because it was your first time seeing it, right? You didn't see it back in the 90s or whatever, so 80s, 90s, and so on. Yeah. I missed it the first time around.
How
did that happen?
I don't know.
Okay. Well,
somewhere probably told me how lame it was, so I skipped it. Jason.
Oh, we didn't know Jason back then. Anyhow.
Though, that normally didn't stop me from watching things. So, no, honestly, I don't know why or how.
Okay.
It's easy enough to miss the first movie when it comes out, but then when sequels start coming out, it's hard to go back and watch all of them. I mean, now it's easy. We get movies in our mailbox every day.
Right.
But, when they came out, I would have, been going down to Movies and You and picking the videotape off the, I would have had to go out of my way to
search for it.
I think it was like Subspecies 3 came out when I was finally becoming aware of the series, and it's like, well, I didn't see the first two, so what's the point?
Right, exactly. And
so
that was
with Netflix, it's like, hey, I'll take all of them.
Right. And that's the other thing I was going to say. Back in the day, I mean, it was you had to search these things out, or they went directly to video, and a lot of things you didn't see every movie that was coming out. You didn't have the access to that. But anyhow.
Anyway.
Enough about that. Let's.
It was a fun podcast to do last week.
Yes, it was. And man, I really wish I could have heard, or wish I could have got some other input from other podcasts ahead of time to play on that. That would have been cool. I would have liked to have heard other people's top picks from the movies that they had seen that were new to them.
Yes.
But speaking of podcasts, one of the things that I'm going to just go ahead and state what my New Year's resolution is. My New Year's resolution is to catch all of the people in the Horror Podcasting Alliance's podcast. I have not heard them all, though we've joined that. And I know Jason's been promoting that, and we've been promoting it here and there and sharing that on the page. And that's my goal for the next year, is to make sure and listen to everybody's podcast that's in there and get promos from them and start playing them and do a better job on that. But I digress.
Because you have so much time.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all we can do to sit you down long enough to get our own podcast done.
Well, I did say it was a goal, didn't I?
I was going to say it's a good goal, though.
Okay. Well, anyhow, let's cut with the silliness and move on to the Rite. Okay. So the Rite, what year did that come out?
Well, let's see. That came out in 2011, it says here.
Wow, we're actually doing a current-ish movie?
That's crazy. I do remember when it came out, and I saw the commercial for it, the preview, and I thought, that looks kind of cool. How can you go wrong? It's got Anthony Hopkins in it.
Yeah.
But then it came out, and I didn't hear a thing about it, and I just sort of forgot about it.
I think I understand why after seeing it, but we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. Would you like the synopsis?
I would love to know what the synopsis of this movie is.
Okay. First of all, it's PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 112 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Despite his conviction that demonic possession is just so much superstitious mumbo-jumbo, Catholic priest in training, Michael Kovak, journeys to Rome to attend a special exorcism school being taught at the Vatican. Before long, true believer Father Lucas, played by Anthony Hopkins, introduces the young cleric to the devil's power firsthand. Director Mikael Håfström helms this graphic supernatural thriller inspired by a true story. Why was it so difficult for me to read that?
I don't know.
It maybe sounded okay, but wow, my brain was like struggling with every one of those lines. sorry. And then I saw the director's name. It's got all these little circles and dots over all the letters in his name, so I was like, uh-oh. I believe it's Håfström, though. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it terrible.
It came out fine, and when I edit it, it'll sound even better.
Yay for editing.
Okay, so what did you think about that synopsis? Did it cover it? I
don't know. I was concentrating so much on not screwing it up that I didn't hear myself.
Okay, well...
I guess that's kind of correct.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that it's not a spoiler. I mean, when I first saw the movie, I thought it was going to be good. Then I saw more trailers, and it seemed like the trailers gave away what I perceived to be a huge plot point.
Okay.
And so I guess we're going to need to talk about that because if you haven't seen this and you don't know anything about it or want to know anything about it first, you should definitely turn this off. And so you've been warned.
Spoilers.
So, yeah, but if you've seen the trailers, I almost feel like you've given your scene, shown scene.
Surprises then?
I don't think so, because you see that Anthony Hopkins is at some point possessed, or you perceive that to be a possibility. And for me, like I said, I thought, well, that's, there's your plot point, major plot point, just thrown right out in the previews, and now why would you go see it? Because they've given it away.
Right.
It turns out after watching the movie, it's not much of a secret when he becomes possessed, and that's kind of not the point of the movie.
Right.
Not exactly.
I actually, I don't know. Do you want to talk about what you would rate it or if you would recommend it? Real quick?
Okay, quickly. I
realize we're doing this backwards.
We're doing it backwards, but the last few movies we've kind of done that way. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I would rate it possibly like a 6 or a 7, but I wouldn't recommend this to people who weren't into possession films. Because I felt there were some very slow parts, and I won't say that I found my mind wandering because I was definitely thinking about the subject matter of the film, but my attention maybe strayed from the performance that was going on screen.
That was throughout the entire...
Not throughout the entire movie. It basically hit a couple of slow spots. Anthony Hopkins is a tremendous actor and usually commands the screen the entire time that he's on it, and I think he did in this movie. But some of the other characters and just the lines that they were given didn't command my attention the entire time. Like I said, I was thinking about the subject matter of what was going on and, the devil and so on and so forth, but I wasn't riveted to the movie, so that's why I wouldn't give it a high recommend to other people.
Okay.
You brought that up first. Usually I'm the one that's quick to ask what you would give this film. Why did you bring that up, though?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think because I had a certain feeling about the movie through probably the first 3/4 of it, and I would have rated it, not off the charts or anything, but, fairly high because I was enjoying it, and I liked the mood and the atmosphere, and it did have my attention. I was waiting for more explanations of some of the plot. We can talk about that in a minute, but I liked like I said, the setting and, the scenes were well done, I thought. The lighting and camera work and all that sort of thing I liked. It was filmed, it was supposed to be in Vatican City, and so it was all, it was pretty, and I was following the story, and I liked the characters, and something went very wrong, though, towards the end.
Yeah, it becomes slow. For me, I've got creepy, sucked in right away from the start. Religious makes it easy to get pulled in. And while I'm taking my notes, bam, something happens, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to rewind it and stuff. But suddenly, I went from being able to take notes to like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And I'm drawn into the story. And then, the story progresses. There was one specific scene, I think you know what I'm talking about there in the opening scene where he's first having a real crisis of faith. The main character, we haven't even talked about the main character, really.
Right.
But he has this crisis of faith, and you kind of learn that he you see right from the beginning that he kind of goes to seminary school just to kind of get away from the family business, which is being a mortician.
Right. And that was sort of that other, all that kind of background stuff, because there was the obvious story that, well, it just said it here in the synopsis, he's not sure about everything, he doesn't believe in possession, and he gets sent over there, and he's in training, and he witnesses this stuff, and he still doesn't believe it. All of the kind of typical usual stuff, but it was all of the background things, his relationship with his dad, and how he grew up, and what was going on with school. Like you said, he knew he didn't want to follow his father's footsteps and be in the family business forever. So he thought, well, he said in the movie, I don't remember exactly the line, but it was basically, if you're in my family, you have two career paths. You're either a mortician, you become, you go to some,
yeah,
well, not necessarily, well, I don't know if he said a priest, but yeah, so. you go to, excuse me?
I think he did say that.
Oh, all right. Well, anyway, so it was one or the other, and he knew he didn't want to be a mortician, so he's like, I'm going to go, to the seminary. I'm going to do my 4 years of college and get my degree, and maybe not necessarily go through with the priesthood, but I'll have my college degree, and he will have gotten out of having to be a mortician.
Right.
But it never went back to that. He wants to quit, he graduates and he wants to quit, but then someone from the school, counsels him and kind of threatens him, actually.
Yeah, kind of.
Which was a little weird, because he expresses his concern that, I don't think being a priest is for me. I don't think I'm going to go through with it. And basically he's told that, well, if you quit now, your grant is going to turn into a school loan, and, I can control that. I haven't done anything yet, but I can make it, become a burden on you. Right. Why don't you I'm going to send you to the Vatican instead. I want you to go over there and, have this exorcism training and all of it. Like, that was just kind of weird and out of the blue to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, what's up with that? So I kept kind of waiting for the story for it to tie that in a little tighter.
Well, there was that, and there was a few other loose ends that you get things, first I would say red herrings, but they come up later in the movie, but then they kind of don't go anywhere. There's specifically some items that you see that make an appearance throughout the movie a couple of times, and there's no real explanation about that. So the movie wasn't good enough for us to forget that, is, I guess, where we're going with that.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, overall, for a movie, though, entertaining and, well, worth the time, or no?
I think so. I think I would recommend it, but I would... I was looking at reviews online, and people were like, oh my gosh, The Exorcist is so much better than this. Well, duh.
Well,
I mean, it's not The Exorcist. It's not.
No, it isn't.
And there's a lot of exorcism movies are coming out now. It's so hot right now. Right. It's popular. A lot of them are being done. This one is very subtle.
Yes. It's
subtle. It's not crazy and shocking, and... there's some shocking moments.
There were some good moments.
It's PG-13, so it's not over the top and crazy.
Yeah.
So, I would still recommend it, but I would just make it clear that it's, I know who I could recommend it to and probably who I couldn't.
Yeah, the same thing here, I think. And it wouldn't be a general blanket recommend to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a good, scary movie or whatever.
And it's only because something, like I said, the plot holes, not tying up the rest of what was going on with the story, that was a little bothersome, but I was willing to get past it because I was enjoying it anyway. But then the end kind of unraveling a little for me.
Yeah.
And I do realize I dozed off. I don't know what happened there. Normally I don't do that, but we did back it up,
Yeah.
I shook it off and I came back for the ending, but it was just,
Well, like I said, there was time that I was left in there to ponder what I believe and what I feel as far as just faith and life and the universe in general.
Right.
And a good movie shouldn't necessarily do that. I should do that afterwards. Mirrors is a good example. It's an example of a movie that I didn't really necessarily care for the movie, how it went, but you and I spent a lot of time discussing the things afterwards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this movie, like, I would have rather had it been riveting or really bad and then discussed it afterwards and thought about it afterwards. But I was actually spending time during the movie thinking about, you know, what are the similarities? What are the things that you see in all exorcisms? And how does this work? And I was just kind of left. Yeah. And again, it wasn't a bad thing per se, but, you know, the movie should have, maybe I feel in the end, it should have drawn me in the whole time and shouldn't have given me time to think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. So what was your number?
What did you think of Anthony Hopkins' character?
Like I said, he was great. Definitely entertaining, and, you know, he commanded the screen most of the time that he was on it. Whenever he was there, it was...
A lot of people wrote that not even he could save this movie. A lot of people really hated it.
I could see that. I really could.
Yeah. But then other people were like, I don't understand the bad reviews. It was, you know, again, a lot of people really liked it, so...
Split. It looked like it had about a 6 on the IMDb, and not that that necessarily counts for anything, but...
Well... I think more people rate it here on Netflix, and out of 413,000 people, which is a lot, almost 414,000 actually, it got 3.4 stars out of 5, so almost 3.5 out of 5.
Okay.
So, you know, higher than not. But
yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah, it seemed like also with these kind of movies, I read a couple reviews on here where people gave it 1 star and said, oh, what a bunch of religious Catholic propaganda crap or something. So it's like, hello. Okay, well, you shouldn't be rating this movie. Like, why'd you even watch it? You know, so to be fair, I think a lot of, I read more than one like that. I think people get offended when religion is used in a movie, and, you know, with all the exorcism movies coming out.
There's a lot of...
Catholicism is getting a beating for that, and a lot of people were just kind of pissed about it and gave it 1 star just because.
Okay.
And they maybe didn't even necessarily watch the whole thing, so...
Right.
It certainly wasn't a 1-star movie. I would probably... I know we use a 10-star system. What would you rate it out of 10?
I had said that I would have given it a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go with that. I would think I would probably say about the same.
Okay.
It's hard. I'd have given it a really solid 7, maybe a little more than that, but I don't know what happened at the end.
Okay. Well, I was interested enough to start looking up a few things and stuff, because obviously this subject fascinates me, since my number one on my top 5 list was The Last Exorcism. Obviously, had you asked me a year ago or more, I wouldn't have even rated exorcism movies as being like one of my top genres. I mean, I had the same thing with the zombies, because zombie movies, I wouldn't say I'm a zombie movie fan. Turns out I am, you know, if you put them out there. Anyhow, my point is, I started looking up some different things, and I was interested to find, like, the demon Baal is named, it's used in the Bible, and it's used other places, and it's actually more of a generic title, because it's not one particular demon necessarily that it is. And when it is applied to a single demon, it's usually represented by a cat, a frog, and a human. Okay. And if you think about Anthony Hopkins' character, he was surrounded by cats.
I was going to say.
Had frogs, and was a man. So you kind of, there's some hints in there and so on.
It could have been, so, you know, build on that. That could have been so much better.
Yeah.
I think it needed more story. Yeah. But it was kind of long, and it did kind of poke along in spots, which was still okay. But I was really waiting for a more complex story and explanations of what the heck was going on. Because this Baal, that's what they call themselves, and they're the ones who possess this girl, and they're, as the young guy is talking to the demon, it knows all about him, what's happened in his past, knows about his family, knows about what just happened, you know, before he got into college. So, like, why? How? You know, I wanted to know more about that. Why was this demon already familiar with this guy? And also, I guess if we're doing, I don't know. I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. I guess we're already warned, but there's almost nothing to spoil here because there was something with bracelets. You know, it starts out where he's dressing a body for a funeral, and the woman has a bracelet on, and then it's a recurring theme. He sees the bracelet again on a girl who's possessed in Italy, like years later,
right
after he's out of college and he's moved on. So, like, what was up with that?
Well, it had a frog, an eye, and I was trying to, like, pick what the other symbols were on there. I'm not sure if there was a cat on there, but yeah, that was what I was talking about earlier on in the review.
So, yeah, take all of those things and put them all together. Like, he never went out and did research, or where's the part in the movie where the person goes to the library and pulls out the big books?
Right.
You know, the big dusty books that they have to blow off and wipe off the cobwebs and, you know, crack it open and it's falling apart, but they can find out everything they need to know. Like, where was that part?
Well,
it's just, okay, bracelets, and there's something in the past and something tying him to this thing, and I don't know. It just ends in, I don't know. You don't know. You never find out.
Yeah.
Unless I slept through that part, but I don't think I did.
No, you definitely didn't, because I'd have caught that for sure.
See, and those are the things that I love about these stories, especially if you're going to throw little things like that in there. Because were we just supposed to go, oh my gosh, it's that bracelet that woman had years ago in America, the woman who died, and, you know, it was a woman who committed suicide, so you figure, okay, she was demon-possessed also. How are these people getting this bracelet? Who's giving it to them?
Is it even the same bracelet? Is it part of a cult? There's any number of things that could have been answered.
Yeah, and I don't want to write it all myself.
Right.
I don't know, or they're deleted scenes or something.
Well, I was going to say, this is one that I wish we had, because I actually DVR'd it. I maybe actually wish that we would have got it from Netflix, so I could have seen any extras because I have a feeling there may have been, you know, good extras on the disc that we might have enjoyed and maybe would have flushed some things out. Not that it would have made a better movie if we have to watch the extras to flush it out.
Right.
But we could have, you know, just to satisfy our own curiosity. But
I just need more explanations.
Yeah.
Wanted more.
So let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
And let's talk about our garbage in, garbage out for the week.
Okay.
All right.
Stories from the deepest part of my heart. Cause to wonder, why am I falling apart? Scattered all around this topsy-turvy room. Will I find the one who takes me there too soon?
So we're back.
We're back.
And we have a few interesting things to talk about. At least I think they're interesting. We've had a lot of garbage in, garbage out. It seems that you're trying to cram all 9 years of the Waltons into your past week's worth of TV watching.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the end.
I love the Waltons.
Yes, I know. But tell me what you thought about the end of the American Horror Story.
Well, it was full of Christmas cheer.
It sure was.
I thought it was a fine way to wrap up the season.
You're taking way too long. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it.
I think of a better way to say. Okay, yeah.
It was.
Yes.
No, I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. I couldn't think of a better way to end the series or end the. At least season finale. I mean, hopefully it's gonna continue on. I'm interested to see where it goes.
If it gets picked up.
Yeah. I think it could be, and it had everything that I wanted in that season finale. I was really happy. There was a couple of unexpected turns, and then a couple of things, you know, it went off the rails in a couple of places I didn't expect it to, and then it went right where I wanted it to in other ways. I loved seeing. Well, actually, do we talk about it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody else has DVR'd out there and hasn't watched it yet.
Oh, I wouldn't.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that then and say I was really happy with the way that ended.
Okay, I was going to say between this one and last week's, there was a lot of twists and surprises, and I would hate to ruin that for anybody.
Absolutely.
It's best to just experience it.
Okay. Sunshine.
That was really good.
You really liked that?
Did.
I did too.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm thinking back to it, and I'm thinking about some of the things that I really enjoyed, and it was just,
I really loved it.
I would have a hard time recommending it. Wouldn't put a broad recommend on it. I would say anybody that's into space drama, would like it. It's not a fast-paced, if you like 2001, 2010.
Absolutely, that's what I was going to say. It had, those scenes and just that kind of quiet floating through space.
I would have liked to have seen that. I think on the big screen.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been a cool one to just.
Cillian Murphy on the big screen.
Okay.
There's nothing better than that.
Oh, anyhow, anything else for garbage in, garbage out?
I don't think so.
I don't think we did. And what's our crawling chaos for the week?
Uh-oh. I thought I was off the hook.
Yeah, you're off the hook. We'll start our new year maybe with some good crawling chaos. What do you think?
Maybe.
All right.
You're nice to me.
Oh.
I don't know. Do people even...
Does anybody
Is it a lame segment? Maybe I need some feedback.
I don't know.
People miss the crawling chaos segment, or was it so completely lame people are going, oh, thank goodness.
Actually,
shut up.
I should have saved my segment on Ball about that. That could have been my crawling chaos for the week.
It could have been.
Yeah, well, anyhow.
This show is just one big crawling chaos anyway.
It seems to be, and it's getting out of hand. So, with that said, you can find us on LA Podcasters. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Facebook. Just punch in Vicis Interimo, VICIS-INTERIMO, or friend me, S. Michael Jones, on Facebook. Had a few friends join us, and appreciate that. We're always glad to see new people signing up and so on. So
definitely
liking us, even if it's just clicking a button once and going away. I still like it. All right, let's get out of here. All right,
it's Christmas Eve.
Shouldn't we be out there opening presents?
No.
Oh, dang.
We should be out there. We have so many cookies to bake.
Oh, yikes! All right.
You can eat some hot out of the oven.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Well, we're hoping you and yours have a wonderful Christmas, Kwanzaa, or Hanukkah, and whatever.
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus, most importantly.
It's a Festivus for the rest of us.
All right.
Yeah, I think I'm tired.
I think so, too. Thanks for listening, folks.
Happy holidays.
Now, everybody, have you heard? If you're in the game, then the stroke's the word. Don't take no rhythm, don't take no style. You got a thirst for killing, grab your vial, yeah. Woo! Put your right hand out, give a firm handshake. Talk to me about that one big break. Spread your ear pollution, both far and wide. Keep your contributions by your side. And strong man, could be a winner, boy, you move quite well. Strong man, strong. Strong man, you got your number down. Strong man. Say you're a winner, man. You do the sinner now. Put your left foot out. Keep it all in place. Work you try to bet me, you make my backbone slide. But when you find you bled me, slip on by, keep on. Something. Give me the business all night long. Something. You stuck together, boy. Say you're a winner, but man, you do so silly now. Better listen now. Say that